There we go. But there's 3 skills. I'm going to go through a couple of them with you so you make sure you know the steps for each set of problems. So like I said, for the first 4, that's just GCF. It's just greatest common factor. So if you need to use the trick on the calculator, which is math, arrow to the right, number 9, and then put your terms, you can do that. But for example, on 1 here, I see they have the same coefficient and they both have a b, so I'm going to take out a 6b as the GCF. That is outside the parentheses, and then simplifying each term by dividing is, oh sorry, b squared. I forgot the smallest exponent. Sorry. Then what's remaining after dividing each term is what goes inside the parentheses. So the 6 cancels. This is going to leave me with just 1b. Again, the 6 cancels and the b squared cancels, so that's 1. So our factoring here is 6b squared parentheses b minus 1. I don't have my calculator on. I'll get it turned on here in a second. But if you have just 2 terms, you always check the smallest coefficient, see if it goes into the other one. But what I was saying is, if you want to do the calculator trick, if it's on, it's not on, you have to put the numbers in the parentheses of your GCD. So you hit math, you arrow to the right, hit highlight number, and then choose number 9. We have a 3, comma 18. Oops, I put 19. Let me fix that. 18. And the GCF is 3. Now the thing you have to watch out for is just make sure you check your variables as well. They both have a k square and a k, so this should be 3k. That is the GCF. Then we're just dividing. This would be a k left over. This reduces to 6. The k's cancel. So we have 3k parentheses k minus 6. So it's just a GCF. That is the first step to every problem in this packet. You have to check for a GCF. So now we have a 3-term polynomial. The first 4 is just 2 terms of binomial. Yes.
Is it supposed to be?
Oh no, it's supposed to be plus. Sorry. So always check for your GCF. That's always first. If I look on number 5 here, the GCF between the 3 terms is the v. The v is going to be on the outside of the parentheses, and then we're just subtracting. So, because this is like an exponent of 1. So v squared minus 4v minus 12, because here the v's will cancel. Now that we have the trinomial, and if you look, our trinomial, we're going to factor. This is a basic trinomial. In the form of x squared plus bx plus c. So here's when we're going to make our x factor, our x puzzle. The c goes on the top and the b goes on the bottom, and we're looking for our factors. Factors of c that sum up to b. So in this problem here, I have a negative 12 and a negative 4. Because we have a negative c, then it has to be a negative and a positive. That's the only way we can get a negative product. So on this, in these situations, guys, you can use the equation to give you your list of factors. So I'm looking, I just say 12 divided by x, and I could do second graph and look at those numbers. Or you can say 12 divided by 2. You can start with 1, but If I divide by 1, that's just going to give me 12. And then 1 plus 12 is going to give me 13. Sorry, and we're doing a negative 12, sorry. So if I divide by 2, that gives me negative 6. And a negative 6 plus 2 gives me a negative 4. You have to maybe guess and check with each one of these. So because I was wanting a sum of a negative 4, that would be a negative 6 and a positive 2. You keep the v on the outside, and now this is going to be v minus 6 and v plus 2. So always check GCF first, and then we're just doing basic trinomials. I think 5 through I think 10 might be basic trinomials. I'm going to get to the other page here. So in here, if I look, there is no GCF. So this negative 15, that is my C. And the 2 here, that is the B. So I'm looking for factors of a negative 15 with a sum of 2. Would have to be negative 3 and a positive 5. So my answer is n minus 3 and n plus 5. We're just giving factors. The main concept of the test is just, can you give me the factors of the 3 types? The 3 types we're going to do: GCF, basic trinomial. Actually, it's 4 because I forgot a trinomial with a coefficient, but it's going to be a basic, meaning 3 terms, and then by grouping. So if you go to the next page, again, these are basic types because there's no coefficient. There's no number in the first term. It's an invisible one. So these are still basic types here. So if I do my X puzzle, I should have a negative 18 on the top and a positive 7 at the bottom. Anytime the C is negative, the top number is negative, the factors have to be a positive and a negative. So you're going to have to take your time to do your guess and checking in the calculator, because I know the table will give you the list, but you still have to add them. So that's what I'm saying. For some, it might be easier to take the negative 18, divide by 1 first. Well, 1 plus a negative 18 is not going to give me 7. I'm trying to get 7. Then divide it by 2. Then I take that negative 9 plus 2. That gives me a negative 7. So it might help to just guess and check. So here my answer is v plus 9, v minus 2. Or if you know your factors, you know your timetable, you could do it mentally. Just give me right here your parentheses, your factors. Okay. 11 here. The C is a positive 12, but my B is a negative 8. So I need factors that give me a positive 12 and add them up to give me negative 8. That would be negative 6 and a negative 2. So this is x minus 6 and x minus 2. Okay, so basic trinomials up to 12. Okay, still check for GCF. Then when we get to 13, we want to check for GCF first. There is no GCF here. We have a 5, a 35, a 34, and a 24. So now what we have to do is we're going to have to slip, slide, oops, sorry. Still first GCF, always. But now because there is an a squared or coefficient in front of the x squared term, we have to slip, slide, and reduce. because our trinomial is going to be the form of ax squared plus bx plus c. Because we now have this a here, that coefficient of the x squared is what we're sliding to c. So our exposal is going to be a little different now, because now it's a times c, but the b is still at the bottom. Okay, so I'm taking this 5, I'm going to slide it to the 24, and I'm doing 5 times 24. What is that, 120? Okay, so we're looking for factors of 120, and our b is 34. So factors of 24 with the sum of 34. So we can, factors of 120, sorry, with the sum of 34. So you can do 120 divided by 2. Well, that's going to be a sum of 62. Then go to the next number. Okay, it's the sum of 43. Or you can go to y equals, do 120 divided by x, and the second graph to look at your table. And if I go right down here to 4 and 30, together they would be a sum of 34. So my factors, I'll do 4 and 30. All right, so we did the slip, because we slipped the 5 to the 4 and we multiplied those. So this binomial, or trinomial, excuse me, is y squared plus 34y, I think that's a y, yeah, plus 120. Okay, so we know our factors are y plus 4 and y plus 30. But we have to slide this coefficient of 5 under and reduce. And this is one of the mistakes I saw on some of the homeworks or the worksheets you did. I'm going to pass those back to y'all. We need to reduce if it can reduce. If it cannot be reduced, this bottom number needs to go up to the front. So this is 5y plus 4. 30 over 5 can reduce to just 6. So y plus 6. Make sure you slide and reduce. So again, we have a coefficient of 5. I'm now going to negative 24. So that's going to be negative 120. I want a negative 120 with a sum of 14. So we know because it's negative here, one's going to have to be negative and the other factor has to be positive. So now I'm looking at the difference between the numbers, because we got different signs. So if you want to look at your table, you're looking for a difference that would give you, oh, I forgot already, 14. Okay. So a difference that would give you 14 is here, 6 and 20. The difference between 6 and 20 is 14. So we have a negative 6 and a positive 20. So x minus 6, x plus 20. Because I slipped the 5 to the negative 4, I need to slide that 5 under. Reduce if it's possible. If not, if it's already reduced, bottoms up. So this is 5x minus 6 and x plus 4. Now, when you get to these next set here, you do have a GCF. Okay. Remember, if you have 3 numbers, to get help in the calculator, you have to do the GCD twice. So I just want to kind of retrace that. So if you do math and you arrow to the right, hit the number, pick 9. Oops, I gotta get out of that, sorry. Math arrow. I'm gonna do this twice because I'm putting the first two numbers, which were 54 and 28, in the first parentheses, and then the last term, so 54 comma 228, sorry, and then I'm gonna put a comma and put the last term, which was 48, and then close the parentheses. So the GCF between the three terms is 6. So I know they have a 6 in common. And then I look at the variable. This had an n squared a, an a, and an a. So they also have an a in common. So the GCF is 6a, which comes out. And now we're just dividing and reducing each term. So this, the a's cancel. This becomes 9n squared. Need to do 228 divided by 6 is 38. So this is minus 38n because the a's cancel, plus just 8. We still have a GCF. I mean, we still have a coefficient. So we still need to slip and slide. So we need to slip the 9 to the 8. 9 times 8 is 72. And then we're looking at factors of 72 with the sum of negative 38. So this would end up being, I believe, negative 36 and a negative 2. So you keep the 6a outside the parentheses. We now have n minus 36, n minus 2, but we have to slide the 9 under and reduce. So I can reduce the 36 over 9. I cannot reduce 2/9, so this is going to be bottom up to the front. The whole answer is 6a. That's one of our factors. The next factor is n minus 4. And the next factor is 9n minus 2. So you always check for GCF. Use your calculator to help with your 3 terms. All right, so on 19, again, I'm going to look at, I have a 4, a 19, and 12. Well, 4 cannot go into 19. Let's go, sorry. I don't have any variable in common, so now I'm just taking my coefficient of 4 and slipping it to the 12. 4 times 12 is 48. So I'm looking for factors of 48 with the sum of negative 19. So you can use your calculator, do 48 divided by 2, that's 24. The difference between those are 22. Do 48 divided by 3. 3 and 6. 16 would give me 19. So I just need to make them both negative. A negative 3 and a negative 16. So we're going to have n minus 3x and n minus 16x. Because we have 2 variables here. We have an n and an x. So we need one in each position of our binomial. But because we slipped the 4, we have to divide by 4. So we slide the 4 under and reduce. This becomes 4n minus 3x. This can be reduced, so this is n minus 4x. Then our last set of problems here are 4 terms. So whenever we have 4 terms, you're going to factor by grouping. You still want to check for a GCF. So I got 5, a 2, a 40, a 16. There's no GCF between them. So now I'm going to group the first 2 and group the last 2. Then GCF per group. For the first group, the GCF is the x squared. The x squared comes outside the parentheses, leaving us with 5x minus 2. I have this minus sign right here. My GCF in the next group is 4. So this is going to be 5x. Was that right? Nope, it's not 4. It's 16. It's 8. Sorry. Negative 8 or minus 8. 5x minus 2. Okay, so think of this. Remember, we're distributing. So if I have a negative 8 and a minus 2, a negative, what's the only way I can make that a positive? So that's why we try to keep that sign on the outside. The common binomial is a factor. So the 5x minus 2 is one of your factors. And your GCF, that's what's outside the parentheses, is the other set of factors. X squared minus 8. Alright, so first 2, last 2, and the first 2, they have a 5 and an x in common, leaving you with 3y plus x. Sorry about that. Here the 5's cancel, leaving you with just 1x. Alright, then I have minus. In the next grouping here, they have a 2 in common, so minus 2, leaving me with a 3y plus x. There's your common binomial, 3y plus x. The other factor is the the GCFs. So 5x minus 2. So there is no GCF, I think, on this one. No. All right. So when you get to the last page here, so go to the last page, number 27. Okay, you do want to check your numbers to see if there's a GCF between them. So you're going to have to probably do 2 at a time and then get that GCF and check the next 2. But I can see right off the bat there's an x cubed y, an x cubed, x squared y, and an x squared, that they all have an x squared in common. What you're going to need to do is check the number. So if you do your math, and then arrow over to number, pick number 9. We're doing the GCF of the first 2 terms, which are 128 comma 48. We get 16, and then we want to check the GCF between the next two terms. Oops. Math error, which is 9, which is 80 and 30. All right, and then we want to, so we got 16 and 10, so we want to do the GCF of our result. So we had 16 and 10. 16 comma 10. So that means the GCF of all four numbers is 2 and the x squared. So 2x squared is going to be taken out first. I'm going to put that outside with the bracket because I still got grouping I'm going to do. So when I do that, the resulting, we want to divide the resulting factor we have is what? This would be 64. This would be just an x and a y minus 24x minus 40y. Let me move this over some more. And then plus 15. Okay. Now I can do the first two terms and the last two terms. I'm going to keep the 2x squared outside the bracket. The GCF between the first two terms is an 8x leaving me with 8y. These x's cancel, minus 3. Alright, then I'm going to the next two terms. The GCF between these are the 5. So this will leave me with 8y. I need to do minus 3 because I took out a negative. So make that a positive. Negative times a negative will make that positive 3. That's positive 15. Alright. So here are the three factors. The 2x squared. Then we have our common binomial, the 8y minus 3. Then we have our GCS outside the parentheses, 8x minus 5. Extend box, here is our answer. So these last four here, there are GCFs on the last four of the trinomials. The other trinomials did not have a GCF. All of these will.
I'm sorry, I know you did that.
Well, because if the minute I saw this was minus 3 right here, this has to be the same, but I took out a negative 5. A negative times a negative will make that positive 15. So once I see minus, I need it to be the same, but if I just distribute to make sure it gets back to what I had here. Because I knew a negative 5 times a negative 3 would give me that positive 15. So I kind of do reverse FOIL or reverse distributing to make sure it matches. So on 29, the GCF between, these are only going to be through the numbers, is 6. So I'll let you start there. So the 6 is outside. And then you're going to simplify and then factor by grouping. So pretty much, guys, if you can do these problems in the review packet, then you can do the test, because the test is going to come off the review. It's going to be the 3 type or the 4 type. It's going to go in the same kind of sequence. First GCF, then basic trinomials, then slip and slide, then 4 terms, but always checking for GCF first. You will be asked to measure angles using a protractor. So the first two, they just have it all set up for you. The vertex M is at the center, sorry, right here. And the ray M in here goes through the 0, which is right there. So you look at the other ray, and I see it's over here. So, but I can tell that this angle is obtuse. So the measure from this ray to this ray, I believe it's what, 120?
Yes, ma'am.
And this is an obtuse angle. I know it might be hard for you to read, so if you need to get the protractor and put it on top, overlay it, to read it, you can. I'm gonna minimize mine. Okay. So what is the measure of angle 2? Yeah. If you need to line it up, it's between 40, mine's at the center, sorry, and 50, so yeah, it's 45. Okay, now you're using the protractor for 3 through 6. We want you to measure GH. So remember, guys, you want the center to go with the vertex. Right now, I don't have it right because the ray has to go through the 0. So I need my center, my vertex at H, and my ray to go through 0. Try to line it up correctly because you're going to be asked to measure, just a second, on the test an angle and to construct an angle. Actually, more than one angle. So anyone figure out the measure of this angle? Yes, it is 110. I can see that it physically goes through the 110 right here. And also, make sure you're using the right scale when you're reading your angle. So if you do not have a protractor at home, you're going to use the protractor at your table right now so you can measure these angles. So use the protractor you have right now to measure. Okay. Yeah, I'll get another one. Guys, please don't take the protractors out of the room. Like, I had Miss Thompson call me last week that there was the smaller protractors in her room. So that can only happen by someone taking them out of this room. Don't do that. If you some papers you're going to get back, because they want you to find the measure of angle AMB. M is the letter in the middle, so that is the vertex. Which means this M has to be our vertex to our angle as well. So let me take this off. Put the center of your compass at M, but you want the ray to go through the 0. Mine's not at the center yet. And now we wanted to measure 65. So we have to put a tick mark. Let's stop the talking. We have to put a tick mark between 60 and 70. So I'm just going to it's not showing. Put a tick mark between 60 and 70. Once you have it lined up, make sure the ray goes through the 0. Make sure it's at the center. And now you have a tick mark between 60 and 70, which is the same thing as between 120 and 110. You can use your ruler as your straight edge, because now I'm going to connect from the tick mark to the vertex. Oops. I'm now just drawing a ray, connecting from M to that tick mark, and now I'm going to add the point B. So now I have angle AMB drawn, and it should look acute. Connect your tick mark to the vertex. So again, M is the vertex. So when we line this up, we need to make sure the center is at M and it goes through the 0 at A. We're doing 125 here. So here's 120, then there's 130, 125 is in between. Put a tick mark at the halfway mark and then connect. Okay, it should look obtuse. So you will be asked to use the tool, the protractor tool, on the test. All right, let's go to the next page. Now we're just going to go with some basic understanding of angles. What do you need? It's up. Yeah, just get it's open. All right, so another name from angle 1. Understand angle 1 is indicating CRI. The 1 is in the interior. So we're basically using the rays RC and RI to make that angle 1. We need 3 letters to name that. So you can, no, R is the vertex. IRC or CRI. The vertex has to be in the middle. The letter that represents the vertex has to be in the middle. So number 8 is just like number 7. Try to see if you can name angle 5 2 different ways. One of them should be VJ. If you need to highlight the rays to indicate the angle, you can. All right. Take your straight edge. I'm going to use an actual ruler, guys. So let me bring it down. You can use a protractor, but we're connecting. It says right here, we're going to draw ray AR. So I have to connect from A to R and draw a line to connect those points to make the ray. All right, so I drew my ray. Here it is, from A to R. Then it says name a pair of adjacent angles. To be adjacent, they have to share a vertex
And the same line or whatever.
and share, yes, a side. That would be the ray AR, would be the shared side. All right, so one of the angles we could name, hopefully you see, is from F to A to R. T is in the interior of the angle. It's not on the ray. The other one will be from R to A to Y. Or you can say RAB. You can go to B or you can go to Y. So the answers could vary. Okay. All right, on this next section, you have to understand what it means to bisect. Does anyone understand what bisecting means, what it's doing? Well, if it's a segment, it will go through the middle, which is a midpoint. Whatever I'm talking about, angle. It cuts it, what? What about those separated parts? They're the same. So you're going to have 2 congruent parts or 2 congruent angles. That helps us find our angle measures. So this one says JLM. If I just trace the letters J to LM, that is given to us as 26 degrees. Then they're saying angle M LN. Yes, because if it's bisect, then the two adjacent angles are congruent. So now angle JLN, that's the whole angle.
52.
Yes, 52. You add the two together. Are we okay on that section? Now on 13, guys, I know this is saying 150 here, but it's referring to the whole angle. Yes. Yeah. So to find the missing angle JLM here, oops, sorry. You have to take that 150 and divide it by 2. Go. So if they give you the whole, you cut it in half, divide it by 2. If they give you the part, you add the parts to get the whole. All right, on the next page. All right, this is important. You got to be able to see the angle pairs. You probably need to study this. I've already posted flashcards on Teams to help you study the angle pairs. So I'm going to make sure we understand here. When they're talking about angle 1, and I'll just highlight it, is this ray and this ray. This is angle 1 here. And they want us to compare it and with the relationship to angle 2. These are the two rays that make angle 2. So there's your angle 2 here. What angle pair could I call 1 and 2, Johnny? Huh?
Adjacent because it's mirror side and the vertex.
Yeah, they are adjacent, but they're also, I need a more specific thing. Because it's not just adjacent.
Vertical is zero.
No, vertical would be 1 and 3.
Oh, isn't it?
It is. Yes, Johnny, go ahead and go. It's a linear pair. So if they're a linear pair, they are what?
180.
You can say equal 180. What is that called to be equal to 180? Supplementary, yes. They're supplementary. So it might help for some of y'all to highlight the angle. So now I'm looking at angle 2 here. So this is this angle here to represent angle 2. And angle 3. They're also what? Linear pair. Yep, they are. Yes, they are a linear pair. I'm just going to abbreviate. And yes, they are supplementary. So they equal 180. All right, the last one says 1 and 3. Yep, they are vertical. So angle 1 is blank to angle 3. No,
Oh, opposite. Congruent.
they're congruent. If they're vertical, the relationship is they're congruent. You need to maybe study this and study the relationship to all 5 angles, angle types. All right, so for anything with angle measures and intersecting lines, do the vertical angles first. That's the easiest one. So who is vertical to 42?
2.
So angle 2 equals 42. Those two are equal. Now to find angle 1. Yep. Now,
Add together.
no, since it's linear, it's a linear pair right here. Then it's on this line, and every line equals 180. So you do 180 minus, not 40, 142, minus 42. Yes, it is 138.
And that means angle 1 and angle 3 are both on.
Yes, why?
Because they both.
Angle 1 and 3 are both what? No, they're not both on the same line. What are they called? I know they're congruent. Why? They're vertical angles. And vertical angles are congruent. You're going to need to know why. Okay? And some of the questions that you're going to be asked. So on 18, guys, which angle of all, because we got 3 lines intersecting here, which angle do you know automatically? Because you should always do which type first. Do the vertical first. Which, do we have any vertical? Okay, so which angle measure do you have, and you have a vertical to it? But we don't, 2 and 4 are not vertical. What?
He said 85.
Yes, 85 measure is vertical to angle 2. So we know angle 2 is 85. Do your vertical first. That's the only vertical that we have a measure for. Then do supplementary. How'd you get that? You're right.
85.
Yes, angle 1 and 2 are a linear pair. So 180 minus 85.
And angle 3 is also.
And angle 3 is vertical to that, so it is 95. You're right. So how are we going to get to angle 4? It is also on this line. Yep, 180 minus 154, which is 26. Yep, that should be 180 minus 59. 121. So try number 19. Start with the vertical angle first. You are given the angle 54. Is there a variable vertical to that? Yes. So y is also 54. Okay, so if I know that's 54, now you can get x. What are you going to have to do?
180 minus 54.
Yes, 180 minus the 54. 126. Okay, now to get to z, we're using the right angle. 90 minus what? No,
54.
minus 54.
And which is 26. No, 36.
36.
And we're doing that on the same, it's on the line. 90 is all.
Because these are complementary. They're adjacent and they have a sum of 90. All right, so we're putting it all together. Did I go too fast? 19. All right, 20. 20 has another bisector. I'm not going to deal with that one. I'm going to go to 22 or 21. Okay, JKL is the whole angle. So they gave me the adjacent angles. So this should be part plus part equals whole. The one I wanted to talk about was understanding bisects. MO bisects the whole angle here. That whole angle PMN, P to M to N, is 74. They tell us OMN, so that is this angle, and I'm going to highlight that. That is this angle here. That angle is the 2x plus 7. Just going to draw an arrow pointing to 2 and the inside of 2x plus 7. Because this is bisects, 30. Yeah, how did we get to 37? You're right, Ray. Yeah, you'd have the 74, we get 37. So this is 37 and 37. So then I can say 2x plus 7 equals 37. So if they give you the whole, you can half it. Or you could have doubled the 2x plus 7 and had it equal to 74. All they want you to do is find x here, okay? Now, the key thing on 23 is understanding this upside down t means perpendicular, means there's a box from BD to AC, meaning it equals 90 degrees. But then if you look, they tell us DBE, that is the angle inside of here, is the 2x minus 1. And then CBE, which is this angle inside here, is the 5x minus 42. Because I know we got perpendicular lines, these angles are complementary angles. And complementary angles equal 90. Your equation should equal 90 when solving. Now, I do want to talk, I'm going to just talk about the setup for 24. This represents the whole angle, F to J, oops, F to J to H, that's the whole. So again, we should be doing part plus part equals whole. A lot of have questions on 25, so I want to address that. I think most of you are seeing it bisect, so that means these two are equal. And I see everyone writing the equation correctly, saying x divided by 2 plus 17 equals x minus 33. But what we need to recognize is this x divided by 2, this is the same thing as saying 1/2 x. And x, that's saying 1x minus 33. So when you eliminate the smallest one, which is minus 1/2, you're going to have 17 equals 1/2 x minus 33. Basically, to get rid of the 1/2, you have to multiply by 2. So eventually you're going to have to double it to solve. So I think most people had questions on the 1/2 when they were not getting the equation or able to solve it.
So basically,
I didn't swap. We mean swap spaces.
that's one.
Yeah, I got rid of the smallest here. And then I said 1 minus 1/2 is still 1/2. So now I have to add the 33. And then I have to get rid of the 1/2. I still got 2 more steps. All right. Then all we're doing is naming the pair. Okay, and know the relationship. Hopefully, maybe you saw the box here. So you said complementary angles, which means they equal 90. But they're also adjacent angles. You can have more than one relationship shown. 27 only has one angle pair. Yep, that's it, vertical. On 28, you do need to, in the diagram, label the fact that JL is perpendicular to MN, so we have to add the box. Make that better, sorry. There it goes. So classify the given angles here. They want us to classify angle PKM, P to K to M, that's that angle there. An angle NKO, N to K to O, that's that angle. Do we see the relationship between those two? Which one are we checking off?
Vertical.
They're not complementary. They're just vertical. Complementary means they equal 90. All right, now they want us to, my green angle is NKO. Now they want me to compare that with OKL. So now looking at the green and the purple for me, what is that relationship? Check all that apply. It is adjacent. Nope, it's not vertical. I'm only looking at these two.
Oh,
Yep, it's complementary. So make sure you're looking at the lines like this one. Here's angle B, and then I'm looking at 70. So I need to focus on using the line that they share to come up with the name. This is extra over here. Yep. You could say linear, you could say supplementary, you could also say adjacent, but now if I give you 70, I want you to find the measure of angle B.
only 110.
Yes, it is 110. You do 180 minus the 70. All right, so now we're taking just one angle and doing multiple angles, guys. I would definitely walk through this with me or check, those of you who did it, check that you did it correctly. Always label the angles that they gave you. So angle 1, we're going to put 35 in the interior there. Angle 3 is 125, so I'm going to put that there. Angle 10 is 90, which they've already put the box to indicate that. And then angle 12 is 40. I'm going to put that there.
What is angle 11 also?
Yes, so that's what I was getting into. Once you label the given, do all your verticals next. So 12 and 11 are 40.
6 also 35.
6 is also 35. What other vertical do I have?
125.
125 and 8.
Which is 125.
Yep, and then I have one more.
90.
Where? Yes, 13 is 90 as well. Because if I see the box, that means 90 degrees. Okay? Yeah. So now, after you do all the vertical, then you do linear pairs. So to find angle, this is the acute. To find this angle here, all I have to do is say 180 minus the 35, which is 145. 2 is vertical to 5, so it is also 145. Same thing with angle 4. To get this acute angle, you're doing 180 minus 125, which is 55, which means angle 7 is also 55. Do we understand how this works?
And then 9 was the, it's, bisected. And also,
No, it's not being bisected. So 9, I would have to use that this is 90. Because if there's a box here, it's over here as well.
yeah, that's what
Okay, so you're doing 90 minus 40. Yes, so that means 9 is also 50. You would need to put all the measures on the diagram first, and then you would fill in the blanks. Okay? All right. 2 things. Find x and the measure of the angle. What type of angles do you see here on 42? What type of angles? Yeah, we have vertical. And if they're vertical angles, they're congruent, meaning they're equal. So the 4x plus 50 is equal to the 2x plus 60. Now you're solving for x and then plug it back in. Anyone find the x here? Yes, x does equal 5. It's up to you. It's not due to tomorrow. So to find RED, you do 4 times 5 plus 50. If you want to keep it to study, you can. So we should get 70 here. For angle, for problem side 43, you need to be using this line. Every line equals what? 180. So these 2 angles have a sum of 180, which means your 7x plus 20 plus the 5x plus 10 equals 180. It does say there is a decimal answer for this.
Wouldn't it be, complementary as a box?
It doesn't have a box. There's no box here. There's no box on the diagram. So you can't assume that. They have to give you the box. All right. Then the last part, the keyword on 44, C and D are complementary. Complementary equals 90. So angle C plus angle D is going to equal 90. And then the keyword for angle, for 45, angle 1 and 2 is supplementary. Supplementary means 180. So angle 1 plus angle 2 equals 180. But this is a little bit more challenging because it says the measure of angle 1 is 18 degrees less than 5 times angle 2. Angle 2 is x, the unknown. Angle 1 would be 5x minus 18. 18 degrees less than 5 times angle 2. So we now have 5x minus 18 plus x equals 180. Don't forget to find the measure of angle 2. Okay, and then at the end here, guys, this is things you should be doing before your test tomorrow. So either rework the problems on the review, do the extra credit in a test environment, not using your notes, basically. If you're referring to your notes to get help, that tells you you need to study that type of problem. But I would definitely go to Wayground and do the extra credit if you want to prepare for the test. A lot of the questions on the extra credit are test-like for your test tomorrow. Do we have any questions? All right. Yes. You have some free time. All right. Finish the ones I didn't do. Make sure you solve each problem. And then if you're done, I will come by and stamp. Guys, don't forget, I've already posted, it's as an assignment, but your flashcards to help you study for your tests. So they're on, yeah, they're on, it's on Teams.
Is there, was it?
Yeah, on Wayground.